Hey guys, Desolator Magic here with an overlooked but awesome card that's really just overlooked but awful. I had never heard of it, believe it or not, until somebody pointed it out. This is one of those cards that was printed so long ago that they didn't really know entirely what they were doing, and it's kind of phrased in a weird way. And to me, it's too broken to continue using, and they should ban it from every format. So another one in this series, I'm pretty sure I covered it, was the cumulative upkeep card where it's like gain 1 mana. Like, are you kidding me? Cumulative upkeeps are supposed to be payments, and I thought, oh, mana burn. I get it. But when they changed the rule on mana burn, they didn't ban the card. What the heck were they thinking? That's the entire point of the card. You change the rule, you get rid of the one card that relies on it. It makes no sense that's not a thing. So with this one, it's a little bit more subtle, and it wasn't because of a rules change. It's just because if you were to print this today, you would phrase it just a little bit differently, it would work just a little bit differently, and it would be a fair card. It's all about cost versus delayed effect. So they neglected to make a very important part of this card part of the payment, and because of that, it has a whole bunch of interactions, and with the new D&D set that's about to come out at the time of this recording, it's going to be a big problem. So without further ado, I bring you Phyrexian Dreadnought. Now you might be thinking, how is that overlooked? That card's like $60. Well, it's super old. I haven't heard of it. They've never reprinted it. It was only ever in Mirage, and it was a rare. And a lot of people are mostly just overlooking the fact that it works with Drizzt Do'Urden from the upcoming D&D set. So let's read the card first. It is a artifact creature, 1 cost. It's a 12/12 with trample. Yep, for 1 mana, but when it comes into play, sacrifice any number of creatures with total power of 12 or more, or bury Phyrexian Dreadnought. Or as they say in the more modern, updated Oracle text, when Phyrexian Dreadnought enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice any number of creatures with total power 12 or greater. So if they were to print a card like this in the current modern day, it would say, as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice any number of creatures with total power 12 or greater. They'd make it part of the cost. You don't just throw it into play and then fix it later, okay? Because you get really broken stuff about like death triggers, and I mean, I could name every interaction, but you get it. Like a 12/12 enters play, so that could be a thing. That could be all kinds of gain 12 life, deal 12 damage, whatever. And then a 12/12 immediately dies. And this is all in like turn 1. I mean, turn 1, so what? But as soon as you have like a 2 or 3 cost, enchantment or something that does something about this, then you're in trouble. There's a lot of cards that say whenever a creature enters the battlefield, ... equal to its power or equal to its toughness. And none of them would do anything nice. Let's just put it that way. Not with a 12/12 that cost you 1. And a lot of them, it's an ETB effect. They don't care if it immediately dies. That's why this should have been part of the cost. That's why I consider this card to be so defective and so incorrectly designed that they should just blanket ban it across the field. But that just doesn't really seem to be one of their categories. It's not like I don't have examples of them taking older cards and just saying, oh, that's just never going to work. But usually they will really drastically rephrase it so that it works kind of differently than the original way it was read. So that at least, it still has value and people can still play it. I kind of get that. I mean, obviously, they could have Oracle text updated this to make it part of the cost. But it would be pretty obvious that it functions differently then. And it would pretty blatantly not function as it is stated on the original card. So I think that's why they didn't do it. But legal in Legacy, legal in Vintage, and legal in Commander. Really? Now, somebody pointed out a pretty degenerate combo here with Drizzt Do'Urden, which I'm not terrifically worried about. He costs 5 and he's 2 color. I mean, remember the 12/12 Trampler, Gulta, that you could just get out for 2? Yeah, Wizards is pushed the power level to the point where they've pushed the game off a cliff. Since 2020, everybody has just been pissed with the game, and they've had more people quit than really probably any other time in the history of the game. And they don't even seem concerned. They don't even seem aware of it. They don't care. They just make an excuse, blame shift, blame COVID, blame whatever, and then keep doing the same stupid mistakes and greedy cash grabs while their company sinks. Which is why we're seeing a combo here even better than Gulta. Now, of course, Phyrexian Dreadnought is not in Standard, and Drizzt is about to be, but okay, whatever. I've seen more degenerate crap in Modern than a 5-drop, 1-turn delayed, non-haste threatening creature that can kill you instantly. I mean, my Modern deck can kill you on turn 4. Just take Infect and replace it with Double Strike, and that's my deck. Double Strike, boost, trample, go. Kill him. Turn 4. Let's go. You use a Shockland or a Painland, you're dead already. So Mr. Drizzt here says 3/3 double strike, hello, and when he enters the battlefield, create, who cares, a cat, whatever, not important, and then whenever a creature dies, if it had power greater than Drizzt's power, put a number of 1/1 counters on Drizzt equal to the difference. So he's hitting for 24 the next time he swings. So it's an on-death trigger, and it cares about the size of the creature, one of probably 50 in the game that exist. But this one has double strike. So you drop in the Phyrexian Dreadnought for 1, it instantly dies, and you put 9 counters on Drizzt. That's how the combo works. Like I said, I've seen worse, but this is pretty bad. Now here's the even worse thing, because this isn't like a simultaneous part of a payment thing. If you drop in Phyrexian Dreadnought, the "oh, it dies" effect, it's a triggered ability on entering the battlefield, that goes on the stack. This is sitting there alive while that trigger is on the stack, and you can put something on top of it. So you just hit this with, I don't know, an instant that says sack a creature, gain, life equal to its toughness, or draw cards equal to its power, just, whatever. You could still do that, and then the trigger would effectively be countered by rule, or as most people call it, fizzled. So there's so many just broken, weird, crazy things about this just because of, the timing and how it was designed. It's pretty obvious it was just designed incorrectly. When Mirage came out, they just weren't good enough at designing cards for the game and couldn't see into the future how things would work, or the power creep, or the different ways they'd handle instant speed stuff. They just didn't see any of this coming, so it's time to take the past and just bury it. I really think they should ban it on principle. They wait until things become problems, like really out of control problems, before they take action. I disagree with that philosophy completely. And I mean, I get it, they never want to ban like a $60, $70 card, because they'll just piss people off and eliminate certain decks entirely, but you should have never let the deck become a thing in the first place. And if you think, well, but Wizards just doesn't do things that way, Des, don't they? Really? Do you know how many cards were pre-banned as known to be or likely to be problematic with no upside right when Modern was first invented? Because the answer is a lot. More importantly, the answer is not 0. They just took a bunch of cards and they're like, okay, this is never going to work. This is just broken. This is one piece of a combo that we just can't let happen. We're not going to wait for this to become a problem. We can see the writing on the walls. We're going to get rid of this. If you think I'm somehow making this up, I'll tell you right now, right before it became an official format in 2011, the following cards were banned: Ancestral Vision, Ancient Den, Bitter Blossom, Chrome Mox, Dark Depths, Dread Return, Glimpse of Nature, Golgari, Grave Troll, Great Furnace, Hypergenesis, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Mental Misstep, Seed of the Synod, Sensei's Divining Top, Skull Clamp, Stoneforge Mystic, Sword of the Meek, Tree of Tales, Umazawa's Jit, or Jitte, or does anyone know how to pronounce that? Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, and Vault of Whispers. Very shortly after, they realized that they probably shouldn't let Blazing Shoal, Cloud Post, Green Sun, Zenith, Ponder, Preordain, or Rite of Flame be legal either. And in my opinion, at least 3 of those they should have seen coming. Yes, I meant Preordain is one of them on the list. That was the joke. But if they're too stupid / lazy / incompetent / disinterested / cowardly to ban a card that just blatantly doesn't work anymore within the rules, the cumulative upkeep gain mana card, I don't expect Mr. Dreadnought here to see the axe anytime soon, unfortunately. But wow, shocking headline. Wizards of the Coast mismanages Magic the Gathering. I know, you've never heard that before for the last 26 years. Well, soon they won't even have a game to sell us because they've ruined it to that point already. I don't think it's even reparable. So on that positive note, thanks for watching, everybody. Go check out some actually cool and interesting and not depressing terrible cards on the rest of this playlist, and I'll see you guys next time.